Incoming message.
It was the dawn of the third age of mankind. Groovy.
Hi-ho. This is me, Kermit the Frog.
Hello there.
Oopsie.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Not a great plan.
Program complete. Enter when ready.
Let's see what's out there. Engage.
Different roads, same old spark. Talking Trek till the streetlights spark. We're those sci-fi guys riding warp speed waves. Mack and DT cannon lighting up the airwaves. Blasters of books, we're geek to the core. Laughing through the lore on those sci-fi
guys. And we are indeed those sci-fi guys. And gosh, now I just completely lost my train of thought. This is that Those Sci-Fi Guys show, just 2 working dudes, deal with lives, different jobs, and a whole lot of love for science fiction and the fun that comes with. We're your hosts. I am P.S. McKay, and it is raining. It is. It's rained so much that, well, things are floating down the road, and I can't have something pithy, and witty come out because, normal fail in the P.S. McKay lifestyle.
And I'm DT Caveman, and it's still cold.
Yeah, I'll take this over the cold. That's for sure. That's for sure. How you doing, DT?
I'm all right. Got my car washed for the first time in months this weekend.
Oh, okay. Do they use salt in your neighborhood, or is it sand?
Mostly salt.
Okay, so it probably was sorely needed then.
Yeah,
Definitely.
definitely.
Well, good.
I swear the car runs better.
I got my car washed today too for the first time in a while. Naturally,
at the car wash.
Yeah, the car wash. Oh my god, that brought back memories. Wow. Okay. So we got a packed session for us. Got a little treat for you, but DT, you wanted to go over something real quick before. Hold on, let me. Here we go. We'll do that.
Well, so Mrs. Caveman and I, we do Valentine's Day, as a couple, but we also don't overdo it, right? And if you go big on Valentine's Day, all the power to you. We're, this weekend, Valentine's Day included going and watching our kids swim at States.
Yeah.
So that took a good chunk of the day. So we were all beat. So we, the goal was to just have a nice dinner, just at home, 3 of us, exchange a few small gifts, nothing wild,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But
sounds like you do it right.
In the little goodie bag that she gave me was this.
Sticky notes. Oh my. Ha. Start for the uninitiated, for the unviewable. It's Star Trek The Next Generation sticky notes with what, sayings on them?
Yeah. Looks like quotes.
Quotes. Okay. You could be me anywhere.
Yeah.
My tachyon pulse is only for you.
No. These aren't Valentine.
That'd be hilarious, though.
Sticky quote.
Let's see. It is an honor to die for you. No, that's terrible. That's terrible.
Fools protect. Fate protects fools, little children, and ships named Enterprise.
There you go. I gift you my best targ.
These are actual quotes, though.
I know. I'm on a roll. That's cute. I like that. That's fun. Are you going to use them or are you going to treasure them? Because that's the problem.
At some point, I'll probably use them.
Because here's the problem. So I've shown you this. This is the Enterprise D. I was able to barter with a friend of mine back in 1992 to get this from him because he had it. I had no idea this thing existed, and I was a brand new Star Trek fan. I bartered with him. I bought a Batwing diecast vehicle and a Batmobile die-cast vehicle, and I traded it for him for that with him. And he's like, okay, that works. Well, my wife, for my birthday that you brought up, got me a mint condition Enterprise D die-cast thing. And there we go. That's good. But I here's the problem, though. I want to open it, but I can't. I'm terrified to open this. Just like it's survived almost 40 years. It's like 35 years old. What do I do? It's almost 40 years old. I can't open it now.
So I have something else to show that I'm very much in the same boat you are.
Okay, good.
Because in one of the things that bother me most now is that all the Micro Machine, mostly the Star Trek, but I had Star Wars, I had X-Wing, Millennium Falcon, but the Star Trek ones, which I really loved.
Yeah. I'm
pretty sure my mom chucked them when she cleared out a lot of the toys that we didn't use. And
they're they're little plasticky things made in China, right?
Sure. Right. And if you go online and look, and maybe something like, because like I got 2 of the big sets, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like the 20 piece, 25, 24 piece. And there was 3 that eventually ended up being 3
big pieces. Yeah. I got the first edition, the first set.
Yeah. Then
you got this. Yeah.
Actually had the Defiant.
Mm-hmm. And I was jealous of that.
Yeah. And a couple, and some newer stuff, right? The third one included Voyager, the Enterprise E, Jem'Hadar ships. And then but that was already kind of, we were still watching Star Trek, but now it's like the end of Deep Space Nine.
We're
juniors, seniors in high school.
Exactly.
I'm like, I really want it, but
but I also want a girlfriend.
But I did this for myself.
Oh, look at you! All right, so what ships are those? So I see the Excelsior, Bird of Prey. Oh, and the Enterprise D. Oh, is that the? What is that?
Oh yeah, this is the Generations pack.
Okay. Oh,
so that's not the Excelsior.
No, it's the Enterprise B.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And that was the Enterprise D that Saucer separates.
Oh yeah, that's right, because they did that. You did have that. That's right. Wait, I think mine does. I can grab my Micro Machines right now.
I had this exact set. So,
well, congratulations, sir.
And then these were all these different ones, right?
Yeah.
For the older packs, right? In fact, every single one of these was in the original pack. Except maybe the Enterprise C. That might not have been in that one. I'm trying to remember. I'd have to Google because I looked. Saucer module detaches.
Yeah.
It was ridiculous to do it, but
no, that's you treating yourself. Treat yourself.
Yeah.
As Retta would say in
now here's the thing. It's not in mint condition.
Yeah. That's all right.
Box anyway. But yeah, so
well that's my box, it's not mint either, but by the way, the late 80s, the cardboard quality, amazing. Like I can just hold it by the cardboard like this. This is die cast metal. And it's just being held up by the cardboard. See?
My cardboard. Yeah. My cardboard is distressed.
So in the 90s, it got a little bit cheaper. All right, that's fine. It's fine.
Mine was before they started doing the plastic everything.
Yeah.
You need to cut to get into it.
The clamshell plastic.
No, not the clamshell. The one that you literally needed to cut with a pair of scissors or a knife. Or like if you go and buy yourself a 4-pack of batteries now.
Yeah, that's the clamshell. Isn't that clamshell?
It's terrible.
Yeah,
terrible.
It's awful. It's the worst.
Yeah.
So, well, congratulations, sir. I'm glad you treated yourself that way. So, see, that's one of those things that I'm always struggling with, like to take the opportunity to give myself a little bit of a treat, an indulgence, if you will, when it comes to an opportunity, an experience, or maybe recapturing a little bit of my youth and like getting the diecast Enterprise D. My wife got it for me. So that's my little workaround when it comes to those indulgences. But but Star Trek The Experience, I'm devastated that I never thought that I could go to Star Trek The Experience. When I had money, I was working, and I was living in LA. It's a $45 plane ride to Las Vegas from LA, from Burbank. It was a $45 plane ride. And and it's dirt cheap to stay in a hotel in Vegas because they want you there, or at least they did back then.
You want to hear something that may blow your mind?
What's that?
We're considering over spring break driving up to Lake George for a few days in New York.
Okay.
What is there? Well, the famous Revolutionary War fort, Ticonderoga.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
You know what else is there?
No. I mean, yes, but you should tell the audience, because don't let me talk over you.
We haven't finalized plans yet, but one of the things to do in the Lake Champlain region, or the Lake George region, is the Star Trek The Original Series set tour, which is officially CBS licensed.
Oh, really?
The original series set.
Like they recreated them, or they are from the original series?
I think it's a recreation.
Okay. I mean, that's a small detail in my brain that I just needed to clarify. But that would be really cool.
You'll find the most accurate rebuild of the original sets, because the sets are complete recreations using the original blueprints. And if you go to their website, you can see what kind of upcoming events are. And in June, Shat is going back to Ticonderoga.
That's probably where he did that quick photo op with Walter Koenig and George Takei.
Where they were
on
sitting
the bridge.
At the bridge, yeah.
Yeah.
That's exactly
that must have
where
been
they
that.
did.
Was that where it was? Okay. Well, there it is. Very cool. You need to go. Right? I mean, you need to go.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Well, there it is.
I'll let you know if we finalize the plans, but that is an option.
Are you? If you can live stream it, or just get some video so you can put a short up on it.
I will do that.
I know. I
will, and
I'd be remiss if I didn't
wearing
say
some Trek stuff.
Well, I'm not saying go that far. I don't cosplay.
Please. Look who you're talking to.
Indeed. So is that everything you wanted to talk about?
Yep.
Right there. Okay, cool. Quick notice to everyone. We have a planned crossover with These Sci-Fi Guys coming up. I was collaborating with Dave over the weekend and getting some items together. He's got a little bit of a surprise plan for all of us, which I'm excited for. So I'm not going to show. He showed me a couple of the photos. I'm not going to show you because I want it to be a surprise for you. But there's good stuff. He's got some good stuff planned. We're going to be reviewing. Badlands, Predator Badlands, which will be fun. Always a good time with getting with these guys. He also told me over the weekend that he and his guys were going to be reviewing Star Trek IV, The Voyage Home. And he was like, this will be interesting because none of them saw Voyage Home until this weekend. Like, so
not
it's
even
a fresh
Dave?
watch. Dave did, of course, but the other three, they're all much young, not much, but they were of a different time
generation.
Yeah, so to speak. I don't want to prematurely
age
Dave,
you, but
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get you.
So when his episode went live tonight, I couldn't help but watch it, and then I texted him. I got nervous because I'm like, oh my gosh, what if his buddies don't like it? How can you not? But what if they don't like it? And then I was like, and then I did my normal P.S. McKay thing where I'm like, I swear if any of your boys rate this lower than 4 lightsabers, we got words. So I watched up until their rating section, and then I paused it because I got nervous, and I'm like, wait, you know what? Let's watch this with DT. I think this is a good shared experience for us to have. And
Is it?
I don't know. We'll find out. You know, if it bombs, we'll cut it out. I don't know. So whatever. But anyway, here it is. This is right where they start rating Star Trek IV: The Voyage Home, which, in my mind, perfect movie. 5 lightsabers, 5 stars.
It was like that. All right. Well, now that we've discussed really the big things that we wanted to discuss on this movie, we haven't talked about questions yet, but let's go ahead and rate this. All right. On this segment of the show, we're going to rate this movie on a scale of 0 to 5 lightsabers. I know everybody's going to be like, one of the questions that I even said, you know, what do you like better, Wrath of Khan or Star Trek 4? And I'm like, Wrath of Khan by far. You know,
different movies. They're different movies.
Yeah, but let's not hate on
comedic.
4.
No,
which was different. It's funny when I'm
going to pause it. He did say, I'll quote, because I'm not going to misquote him. I'll just read what you said, because I asked him permission to stream this, and he said yes. And he goes, sure thing, but remember what I said about childhood memories as an adult. And that is, like, he said at the very beginning of this episode, he goes, it's really weird to watch something as an adult in a critique mode, something that I grew up watching and absolutely adored, and then I see it from a completely different angle now. So this is him warning me. So
I see, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, oh, well, different is better, right? Well, you ever seen that the you know, those motivational posters where it says, where you see the one that says unique, but it's got the fork that's like bent all different ways? It's like being unique is not necessarily a good thing, you know.
Yeah.
But in this case, I thought it went well. One thing I mean, it was definitely dated. I mean, it's definitely dated for the 80s for sure.
Yeah,
very 80s. It was Save the Whales.
Yeah,
I thought that there wasn't nearly enough, you know, of action. You know, there was action at the end when they were trying to open the door. Ooh, that was just a suspenseful time, but that was it. You know, and then there was no other real action to me. I am going to rate this. Oh man, all the Trekkies out there are going to kill me. I'm going to rate this at a 3.5.
Oh,
whoa,
Dave! Oh my god,
it was a good movie, but
what?
You know, I thought the acting was so. I mean, really, subpar. Honestly,
double dumbass
you know,
on you.
Yeah, okay, it was cool that he's like, and sir, it's the Enterprise, and it's like, how do you know it's the Enterprise? You can't see that far away. Chekhov wouldn't have known that. You know,
it's actually the Ranger.
And it's funny seeing these actors in other roles, like Chekhov. If you watch Babylon 5, all right, he is. He's kind of a bad guy in there.
He's very much.
I'll just say kind of. I think it's one of his best roles. He is fantastic.
We completely agree on
so,
that.
and this, he's just kind of okay. He's Russian. You know, I mean, honestly, he's Russian. That's the only thing that's in this. That's
well, where's he Russian to, Dave?
Oh wow!
Right. You know what? That's a deep joke. That's okay.
All right, somebody else.
Of course you laugh.
Of course you're rolling. I agree with Dave on this. It was a okay movie. It wasn't as good as Wrath of Khan, so
nobody says it had to be.
Only gives it a 3.5.
Oh, so close, Chad.
Yeah, I think the
you got so close.
Chekhov here you see in this movie. Where is the nuclear? Where's
nuclear vessels?
Yeah, the nuclear vessels.
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 Wessels.
Vessels.
Yeah. Shane, how about
I'm
you?
laughing at the scene. I'm remembering it. It's so great.
I would say that this was definitely different, like we talked about.
So 3.5, 3.5.
Some of it was good, some of it not so much. I felt like
Oh,
nothing really kind of stood out as like this is a huge impactful movie that would rate up there with like Wrath of Khan or anything like that. Was it bad? Absolutely not. Was it great? No. So I probably would think around the same way. I will say that I did enjoy the actors' chemistry.
It's killing me.
I thought that was really prevalent in this movie, and I feel like being able to highlight each of them individually, I thought was really cool. So
This was
I was looking back at my ratings, and I do definitely have to rate this higher than Star Trek 3. So I'm gonna go with a 3.5 as well.
Damn it!
John, are you going to make it a clean sweep or?
No.
Or are you going to
Okay,
be
John.
different?
What we
think
got?
so.
We got.
So I give it a lot of points for being high quality.
Yep.
Honestly, of the Star Trek films we've watched, this one felt like the highest quality in terms of like cinematography value. Let's put it that way. I think for them to go such a different direction, there's no doubt it's still Star Trek, which I actually really appreciate the fact that we can dive so deep over here and still end up feeling like Star Trek. Like the fact that they took such a turn and it still feels like home.
Okay.
I think that, I mean, props. Now, the one thing I didn't like so much is, again, how far that swung. But overall, high quality. I really enjoyed it. I'd watch it again. It's up there with some of the other movies we've watched this year for me. And so I put it actually at a 4. Slightly higher.
John. All right, John.
In the same realm as you guys, just slightly higher.
You're right there.
Let's cut this. Okay. Well, let me just say.
I'll remove this.
They're not wrong per se. It definitely was a big swing. It definitely was out of character.
By the way, this is all live. I had no idea what they were going to say. So,
but here's the thing that made this movie stand out for me is that it was fun. It was just fun.
They did mention that earlier in the pod, in the show. They did. They talked about how it was fun, and it was kind of a relief to have that change after 2 very serious movies where Spock dies and it comes back to life, and the Enterprise is destroyed,
and the death of Kirk's son.
Yeah, and the death of Kirk's son. It's like they did mention that, so it was fun. Man.
Look, if you take,
I'm not going to have
if you
words.
take Wrath
I
of,
will.
If you take 2 through 4 as a trilogy, which it kind of is, because
it is, yeah. It isn't kind of. It absolutely is. Yeah.
What I would say is, in some ways, Star Trek 4 is like the Back to the Future 3, right? It's kind of a big swing in an opposite direction, but it's also kind of fun. Fish out of water kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Now, I'm a fan of Back to the Future 3. I enjoy it, but again, I'm a Western fan, so maybe I know some people didn't like it as much. I found it to be very entertaining.
Oh, I loved it. I thought every single one of those movies is a perfect movie.
But for me, if we're going to do, we should at some point we should do Star Trek 4. It was the first Star Trek movie I ever saw in the theater.
I forgot about that. That's right. Yeah.
And granted, let's rewind. What year did the movie came out? 86?
86.
You know how I was 5 when
and you remember it.
Mm-hmm. I do.
A lot of people don't remember their lives at 5 years old.
Bits and pieces, things that are formative. And that was formative. Mm-hmm. Clearly, I'm a longtime Trek fan. So anyway, I didn't wear the floppy sun hat just to look like an old man. What's our topic tonight?
Oh, yeah. Anyway, appreciate these sci-fi guys and Dave for allowing us to watch that. Our topic here.
Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Bump bump ba da dun 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 dun.
Yes, and while you think after we did Curse of the Black Pearl, we might have gone in order, but we didn't. We skipped all the way to 4.
No, because I said we're not going to be doing the other two. They're too convoluted and messed up.
You know what? I've watched every movie but At World's End in the last 2 weeks.
Did you? Okay.
Dude,
So,
the music
confession.
and Jack Sparrow just gets me.
It
And
does.
I didn't not watch At World's End. I had watched Dead Man's Chest. I was going to watch At World's End. And I'm like, oh shit, we got to record this. So
Yeah.
I watched on Stranger Tides. I think it was Saturday night because everybody crashed early and I was just kind of wired. And
Yeah.
then yesterday I put it on while I was on the treadmill. I put on Dead Men Tell No Tales. Like, I really should watch At World's End. And I was sitting there with like a couple hours before, like, I should watch At World's End.
Makes no sense. I don't understand the Callisto thing. Like, what she's
Calypso.
there. I'm sorry, Calypso. Callisto's from Xena. My bad.
Yeah.
Probably one of the best bad guys ever in fantasy history. Callisto. Calypso though didn't make any sense. I liked the character and the actress who played her was fantastic, but they're like, we need to release her, like, from her bonds, and they release her, and then she gets big, and then she kind of turns on them. It doesn't do anything. I'm like, okay, the whole Dead Man's Chest and at World's End, just a convoluted mess. This I found refreshing, and I do have to admit I didn't do the reading. Moving on, I did find this movie refreshing because it was simplified. A little weird because it felt like Jack Sparrow was just kind of thrown into the middle of it, like
He was.
No, and you brought it up. You told me, and I'm like, oh, that makes total sense. But when I was watching it for the first time, I'm like, this feels like just Jack Sparrow's just there. Like this, like everything else is happening around him, and he doesn't do anything, so to speak. Like everyone else is doing something. He's just there for Savvy. And mind you, it's been a while since I've seen it, but that impression could be a little off, but
it's a little off.
Please explain why he's kind of thrown into the middle of this whole thing.
So this was not an original screenplay. This is loosely based on a novel called On Stranger Tides from 1987, written by Tim Powers. Now, I had read this years ago. I think right as the movie was coming out, they kind of let it be known that this was based on, a novel. And then you can actually read like the full, probably because this movie, you can find the full Wikipedia rundown on the whole basic plot of On Stranger Tides, which there are definite elements, zombies and the undead and whatnot. It was very interesting.
Mermaids.
Yeah, mermaids. I thought it was very interesting that they took a pre-existing story and adapted it, which did make it made sense to a degree. So what they say is, they had gotten the rights to the movie, rights to the novel On Stranger Tides. He, Johnny Depp and company had signed on. So, basically they kind of replaced like one of the main characters with Jack Sparrow, right?
Yeah.
According to the author Tim Powers, felt that Sparrow and his book's main character are totally different characters, but it was possible they might overlap. You have Blackbeard involved, and Barbossa, though he felt certain that the Fountain of Youth was the only thing that they would truly hold on to. And it was a good chunk of the story. Blackbeard was part of the story. The daughter character was part of the story.
Selma Hayek.
But, yeah, no. Penelope Cruz.
I'm sorry, Selma. I'm sorry, Penelope. My bad.
Selma Hayek, that would have been an interesting one.
That would have been.
Maybe she'll
good,
be in
right?
the next. Maybe she'll be in the next Pirates movie.
I think she was. I think maybe that's why I had it in my head, because when how they were talking about an all-female Pirates with Margot Robbie, I think that Selma was in talks for it. Anyway,
Sure.
But they're not going to do that movie, by the way. They're not.
This was not a straight version of the novel. They took parts of it, and then they slapped in some pre-existing, some of the pre-existing Pirates characters. Blackbeard was in the original novel. The book actually sounds like it might be an interesting read, although I've basically read the entire plot.
It was written in the 80s, you said? Late 80s?
Yes.
So it'd be in modern language. So
yeah,
probably be a good read.
Yeah, it could be. Yes, Blackbeard and the Fountain of Youth, they're in there. So, but
what's the general plot
of the book?
No, of the movie.
The general plot of the movie is Jack Sparrow shows up in England.
I loved the opening scene, by the way. It was silly, it was stupid, but I absolutely loved it.
But it was also very Jack Sparrow. It's what you come to expect.
Yeah,
from
exactly.
The franchise. Gibbs is on trial for
it was unexpected.
piracy.
Yeah, and it was unexpected that you would see Jack Sparrow in England at the beginning of this movie. Like that's a left field kind of thing. So sorry. I know I interrupted you. I apologize, but
yeah, so Sparrow, Gibbs is being accused of being Sparrow and is in an English court about to be sentenced for execution. And who shows up as the judge with a powdered wig and makeup on but Jack Sparrow?
Who else but Jack Sparrow?
But he basically just railroads this, the trial, and then gives him commuted life sentence rather than hanging or execution. He's like, wait, what? And Gibbs kind of figures out, and he's like, oh, I have some things I could possibly say about people, and he kind of cuts him off and everything. But so he sneaks into it. It's like it is such like an 80s like thing, like where he after the trial's over, he kind of goes in and like walks into this changing room where the judge is tied up and like throws all the clothes on.
Yeah, it's very 80s. A quick aside on when it comes to impersonations and stuff. You talk about 80s. We rewatched 3 Men and a Little Lady, and honestly, I think that was Ted Danson's best role, because at the very end, when they're trying to curtail the wedding with Sylvia and what's his jerk face, Ted Danson dresses up as an old vicar, and he's like, "Oh, did you see this movie?"
I think I saw it back
Oh my gosh,
in the late 80s, early 90s, so
Yeah,
it's been too long.
the makeup is fantastic. I mean, as a kid when I first saw it, I didn't know that was Ted Danson, but it was great. But yes, and then at the end he pulls it all off, and he, the big reveal. Oh, the wedding isn't valid. Ha 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 ha. But it's funny that you mentioned that was a very 80s thing that Jack Sparrow did, taking off the robe and the wig and everything. So
oh yeah,
on point.
Yeah, but one of the things that because this is supposed to take place close to 20 years after on Stranger not sorry, roughly 20 years after Dead Man's not Dead Man's
At World's End. Yeah,
World's End, right? But of course,
you'll be forgiven. By the way, the titles are weird.
Yeah, well, like these characters barely age, right? Anyway,
that's true. Yeah.
Roughly 20 years, because they end at World's End with
about 10 years later.
No, it says about 20.
What was was it really?
Because they ended at World's End with Barbossa and company sailing away with the Black Pearl, leaving Gibbs and Jack stranded. And they're in the search for the Fountain of Youth with this crazy map that they got from Sao Fang. And it turns out like Barbossa is about ready to set course. He opens it up and Jack is carved out the middle where the bulk of it is.
Right. That was good. But when did Davy Jones, i.e. Orlando Bloom's character, because he took on the mantle of Davy Jones, what was his time frame when he was allowed to get back on land? Was it every 7 years?
Every 10 years.
Every 10 years.
Every 10 years, yeah.
Okay, so this takes place after Dead Men Tell No Tales.
No, I would say this is probably right before it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because
he's like 15. Orlando Bloom's kid is like 15.
Not
or younger.
No, he's not.
Yeah, in Dead Men Tell No Tales?
No, he's not. He's like 20 years old.
Okay, I'll give you that. I don't know.
Because you can't. Because
I can't own it. So
the pearl is still in the bottle.
On Stranger Tides. No,
it's still in the bottle in Dead Men Tell No Tales.
Right.
That's part of it. The pearl was ambushed by Blackbeard, and he has this way of capturing these ships in a bottle. Barbossa manages to escape by cutting off his own leg. This is how you eventually meet Barbossa later, who has become a privateer for the British government. Okay? Because Jack and Gibbs are trying to make their escape out of London when they get caught because the guy he paid off, it's kind of like Tyrion Lannister to Bronn. I'll pay double. Somebody paid this guy more. And took him right to, whatever it was, Buckingham Palace or something. But part of this also begins with some Spanish sailors recovering a castaway who is holding a logbook from Ponce de Leon, who supposedly died 200 years earlier. But you hear them talking, and this guy claims to have been one of Ponce de Leon's crew. This old man that they find. So the Spanish are after the Fountain of Youth, right?
Right. Well, they get word of where it
English are not.
is, and the Spanish are terrified. They're like, "Oh my goodness!" Like, Like they're on an immediate quest to get to this
Dios
thing.
mio.
Right. And we all think, oh, it's to get control of the fountain. Gotcha. Like, so now it's a race against time between these two groups.
Right. And Jack is brought before King George II of England.
Yeah.
Who's trying to get him to talk about the Fountain of Youth, that he claims to know where the Fountain of Youth is. And that's when Barbossa shows up with a peg leg and everything and a poofy wig. And he's now a privateer for the British Crown.
Can I just say, I think that the representation of the hygiene, even among the elite, being so poor and gross was actually probably more accurate than what we've seen in most Hollywood movies.
Oh, clearly.
I think, like, because gross. All of it was gross. King George, gross. Sorry, England. I mean, I love you as a country. You're a great friend, but that was gross, and it's probably accurate, right?
So it's great. He gets to face down the king, the prime minister, a bunch of ministers, and he's basically looking at the faces of some of the biggest douchebags in Harry Potter and Star Wars / Game of Thrones, eyeballing him right back.
Yeah, all true. Wait, wasn't oh gosh, Emperor Palpatine?
The king, no, the king was Harry's douchebag uncle.
Yeah, I know that.
And the prime minister was not Palpatine. The prime minister was Didra's boss from Andor.
Oh.
Who was the second creepy maester to serve the king in King's Landing. Qyburn, the one who zombified fucking the mountain.
Yeah, gross.
So clearly this actor digs zombies because they're here in this movie too.
Yeah, they are. Why aren't I getting good screenshots here?
But there's also, like, Jack is constantly being confronted with rumors that he's already there in England raising a pirate crew. And Jack's like, I don't have a shipping crew. I need one, but everybody's saying I'm raising. So he makes this ridiculous Jack Sparrow type escape from the English crown and, from the king, from Barbossa and company, and this race through London. He robs Judi Dench, and she had a quick cameo as this woman in a carriage who he crashes into.
Yeah, I forgot about that. You're right, though. Yeah,
and then he's still trying to outrun British soldiers when he's rescued by none other than Keith Richards, aka his dad,
whom he patterned Jack Sparrow off of in real life.
Oh yeah,
which we talked about. Yeah.
Have you been to the Fountain of Youth? Does this face look like it's been to the Fountain of Youth? One take. Yeah, that was a great line. Keith Richards, you got to give the man credit for not only suiting up for 2 Pirates movies as Jack Sparrow's dad, but having to watch somebody walk around doing an impersonation of you for hours on end, but also will make self-deprecating jokes like that. So
yeah, good on him. You gotta love him.
Yeah, but Jack, Captain Teague, of course, that's his dad's name, gives Jack kind of a rundown about the Fountain of Youth and that there's 2 chalices, and there's this ritual that is supposed to transfer life force from one chalice to, from people who drink out of the chalice. One person can donate their life force to the other, right? So he kind of gives this piece of information, and Jack goes to investigate this imposter Jack Sparrow, and it turns out to be his former girlfriend, Angelica, who's impersonating him, trying to raise this crew. He's like, you know what? I'll take this crew, and that's when the Brits show up. You know, the British military chasing him down, and you know, there's a chaotic sword fight, as there always is, between Jack Sparrow and somebody, and then you know, he eventually gets knocked out, and it turns out he's shanghaied. He ends up on this ship with a bunch of other people who either signed on willingly or not. And then they're being like, you know, bossed around by these gnarly, nasty dudes who are all like scarred and pierced and everything, and supposedly zombified. And he's been told it's the Queen Anne's revenge, and they're all sailing under Blackbeard, with Angelica acting as first mate. And Jack continues to weasel his way in and trying to get information. And he basically is like, wait, none of you have ever seen Blackbeard? No. How long have we been at sea? Like 5 days, and nobody's seen him. No one's sailed with him before. Well, clearly this is bullshit. So let's mutiny. So they mutiny. And that's when you get the first appearance coming out of the crew cabin of Ian McShane as a fearsome Blackbeard.
Yeah.
Quite good.
Ian freaking McShane, as people on FARC like to call him. Except they don't say frickin'.
And they shouldn't say FARC because it is a terrorist organization, but that's okay.
Well, that's FARC. The FARC is FARK.com.
Oh, sure. I'm sure the terrorists can tell that when they hear it over the website.
The news aggregation website. Jeez Louise. I used to go there every day. That was like my go-to. I stopped because they got weird. Anyway.
Terrorist one.
Little Haiti, yeah. Little like hate, Hatey. Haiti. Yeah. Got a little. Yeah. Anyway.
You know, so Blackbeard, right, who can control all the ropes on the ship with his knife, or with this gigantic sword, this cutlass, right? And basically Blackbeard continues to impress Jack Sparrow into his service because everybody thinks Jack knows where he's going.
He doesn't.
Got the compass. The compass does help him. He's got the compass. He knows about the chalices. So he manages to continue to barter that to save his life numerous times. He gets so close as to, trying to convince Blackbeard that Angelica is not actually his daughter, because she kind of hints that she's not his daughter. And then she's like, no, I actually am. He's like, wait, you were telling the truth? You were lying to me or by telling the truth? That's devious. I need to try that.
That's devious. I need to try that.
Basically.
That's a good line. That's a good line.
Right. So while they're sailing to Florida, they don't really mention that, but supposedly.
Yeah, it's the first time they're on mainland America.
Yeah, supposedly. But they're sailing for the Fountain of Youth. And, you've got, Barbosa was about to have Gibbs executed. And he's like, oh, nope, I got this map here. It's the map to the Fountain of Youth. Barbosa's like, oh, you give it to me and I'll let you live. And Gibbs is like, nah, I don't trust you at all, and burns the map. He's like, what did you do? He's like, I had just enough time to memorize it. So welcome back to His Majesty's Navy, Master Gibbs. Because that's the first time you see Gibbs in Curse of the Black Pearl. He is a crewman aboard a Royal Navy vessel.
The Interceptor.
No, probably not. They don't specify. It's probably just some other random ship.
I'll bring it up one more time. The Interceptor in Pirates of the Caribbean, Curse of the Black Pearl
was the Enterprise. Yes, in generations.
In generations, yes.
Well, anyway, Blackbeard is a bit concerned why he's going to the Fountain of Youth, because there's a prophecy that he will be killed by a one-legged man. And obviously Barbossa's after him as well. He wants revenge for losing the pearl and his leg, on top of going after the Fountain of Youth, and they're trying to also beat the Spanish to it. So there's this race by basically three different factions, although you really don't see much from the Spanish. They're kind of more of just a little seen third party that's helping drive the story along.
Right.
Because the King of England doesn't want a Catholic to have the Fountain of Youth. But Jack starts to learn a little bit more about this ritual, and it turns they do need the chalices, but in order to get someone to transfer their life force to the other, they need a mermaid's tear to be in one chalice. And whoever has the mermaid's tear, I believe, receives all the life. So there's this chaotic ship with zombie officers that this madman pirate can control with his swords, the ropes and everything. But they get to but they also have this clergyman strapped to the mast who was captured from the last raid, and Angelica is trying to save Blackbeard's soul. So that's why she has the clergyman. That's one of the reasons why she's trying to save his life, get the chalice. Blackbeard's like, yeah, I think that's a good idea. We'll save my life. And Sparrow talking about the actual the truth of Blackbeard's death, where he was beheaded something like 30 years before this, and the old legend that Blackbeard's body swam 3 times around the boat before it finally died. There's those legends. Pretty wild, but
yeah.
Angelica also shows like this cabinet that's filled with these ships and bottles, and Jack recognizes the Black Pearl, and he clocks that for later. Blackbeard's ship, they sail into this Whitecap Bay, which is haunted and creepy, and that's where mermaids are, and you hear the more visceral stories that mermaids are sirens that lure sailors to the deep, and that they'll kill you, and they leave a bunch of sailors in this boat, and they let off this lighthouse to draw them to the surface, and mermaids start attacking the guys in the boat, and then they start using the flamethrowers on Queen Anne's Revenge to drive the mermaids towards the shore where they can capture.
Mm-hmm.
And they eventually do capture one kind of accidentally when one mermaid pushes the clergyman out of the way. Philip is his name. And this one mermaid who they name Serena gets captured, and they have to carry her through the jungle, first in this glass coffin. And the only person showing her any sort of...
I don't mean to interrupt you.
Well, then you are.
Hold on.
This is hard enough.
We don't need to do, I just realized, we don't need
to
do the whole...
me to.
I did, but 5 minutes. I was thinking 5 minutes. We're now 15 minutes.
You can't. It's a pirates movie. It's too complicated.
You can. Real quick plot beats, and then we talk about what we like about the movie, and then we talk about what we didn't like. We
basically,
don't need to go
long
through
story short.
step.
Yes, we do. You asked, this is a pirates movie.
I literally said, "Give me a quick plot twist, plot synopsis."
This is the quick version. It's a 2.5-hour movie.
We've got 30 minutes left at best. At best.
Basically, on this trek through the jungle, the missionary and the mermaid fall in love, although he's constantly being harassed and undermined by, Blackbeard and his crew. Jack's always trying to find a way to escape.
Yeah.
They let him go to find the ship of Ponce de Leon. He does, and finds Barbosa waiting for him. And they realize that the Spanish already have the chalice, so they go find the chalices. They get captured, and then they escape through Jack Sparrow-y kind of, ridiculous parkour and chaos.
By the way, it also helps that the missionary is very good looking. He's a tall drink of water. Unlike this guy.
That's a dead mermaid.
Oh. Well, I stand corrected, don't I?
There's these pools in the jungle where clearly the Spanish had staked out mermaids and tortured them to get their tears and left their fins in the water, but their bodies out so that they would eventually cook. So very awful. They were doing the same thing to Serena. They also tried to get her, get her to cry by pretending to kill Philip. Sparrow and Barbosa, kind of team up because Barbosa wants revenge and Jack just wants to get the fuck away from all of this chaos.
People aren't cargo, mate. Yeah, see, that's the thing. Jack Sparrow just didn't want to be there. He just wanted to get out. He was just like, basically everything is a wave, and he's just inadvertently riding this wave because otherwise he'll drown.
But he does want the Black Pearl, so that's another reason why he's kind of sticking around.
Yes.
He is trying to get the Black Pearl back, which is basically his entire plot for like 4 movies.
Right there.
5 movies, actually. There's a part of him trying to regain the Black Pearl in every
time.
movie.
Every time, yeah. Because he lost the Black Pearl in Dead Man's chest right at the beginning.
No, at the end.
Well, and at the well, he lost his crew, so maybe that's what I'm confused about.
So, anyway, they eventually, all the parties eventually kind of make their way to the cave of where the Fountain of Youth is. And the British and the pirates, well, first the pirates arrive, and then the British arrive, having lost their ship, which was destroyed by vengeful mermaids. With Barbosa just like,
scary.
All right, that sucks. Yep.
Scary.
Yep. And so the survivors, would you let me finish?
No. Sorry. With all due respect, did you ever see She Creature?
No.
Okay. It's about mermaids, and it was a terrifying movie.
Ugh.
It was terrifying.
Anyway, they get to the fountain, and like Barbosa is up for revenge. And so the pirates and the Brits start fighting, and then the Spanish show up, and it's like just this melee. But the Spanish are like, screw you all, we're destroying this.
They just walked right through.
Destroy this. Well, they also outnumbered everybody.
Yeah,
they came with a fleet.
They didn't have any compunction. They were clean. By the way, they walked through everything unblemished, if you will. That's what I loved about that little twist. Like, they were there to destroy the Fountain of Youth. We didn't know it until the very end, though, which was fantastic. Like,
well, to quote the Blues Brothers, they were on a mission from God.
They were, and the Spanish were the only good guys, really, like
basically,
so to speak. I mean that at least that group, right? At least that group, they were the only good guys. Like, they were like, we got to destroy this. This will destroy all of civilization if we have this thing.
Well, they also felt it was an abomination towards God. Only God can grant and return life. So there was that.
Yeah, there is that. There is that. I mean, we don't want to go against Scripture.
Like when the recurring British officer is waving the British flag, this is British soil, you cannot take it, and he gets immediately shot. And then the lead Spaniard goes, note his bravery.
I note his bravery. Yeah. That was good. That was. I really liked the role of the Spanish team, so to speak. That was a refreshing. I don't know if it's in the book like that.
I mean, no, I don't. I can't recall. I'd have to go and double check the notes on that. But the fact of the matter is, the Spanish were just kind of a driving force. It was just another party to be involved, and they were. I don't know if you would say they had any more pure intentions than others, but it was more of a all-encompassing effort. You know, there was no backstabbing. They were all on the same page. Everybody else was backstabbing each other the whole way for their own purposes. So
yeah. I think that their cause was pure. Pure, the purest out of everyone else there. I mean, Jack didn't want to be there. All he wanted was a ship. But so I mean, you could say that his cause was pure too.
Well, to go pirating, so I don't know how pure that is.
Well, that's why I was thinking. Like, it's a little weird to say that, but yeah.
To wrap this up in a bow, the Spanish start trying to break down the cave of the fountain. The El Capitan or whatever, like, stomps on the chalices and tosses them into the water. They've already gotten the mermaid tears, but now Barbossa and Blackbeard are in this sword fight duel, and he cuts Blackbeard's hand because he had been collecting poison dart frogs or whatever, and coated the blade with it. You know, it's like, if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying.
Yeah.
Blackbeard's like, oh God, he's going to kill me, and Angelica like grabs the sword, and cuts her hand, and so Jack's trying to find the chalices because he's trying to save Angelica. Meanwhile, Philip had been wounded and staggers back to the pool to save Serena. He frees her. She like takes off down, and he just kind of like collapses and is kind of like dying from a sword to the gut, and she like pops up again in the pool behind the Fountain of Youth and hands Jack to the chalices, and she's like, don't waste my tear. And he does the old awesome Jack Sparrow switcheroo where he puts the remaining water from the pool or from the fountain and the mermaid tear, and he basically tricks Blackbeard into who's a selfish fuck to drinking the one that takes his life, and he gives the one that gives life to Angelica because he knew Blackbeard was gonna double cross them.
Yeah,
he did, and he dies, and Angelica lives, but she's extremely pissed off at Jack. Meanwhile, Serena pops back up in the pool.
Her?
No,
I
don't think so. No. And takes Philip and begs him to ask her to save him, and they kiss, and she takes him down to under the sea to sing with Sebastian the Crab. So
where's Flounder? Where's Flounder?
He's in Animal House, and then Babylon 5.
Oh. Yeah.
So you don't really know. You don't really know what happens there. Does she eat him? Does he turn into some sort of merman? You don't know. That one's just kind of left to the imagination. This
is her. That's her. Okay.
Meanwhile, Gibbs has been set free to go break into Queen Anne's Revenge and steal the Black Pearl. And Jack and Gibbs escape. They dump Angelica on a deserted island with one pistol, and she shoots at it.
Yeah.
He's like, "You wasted
Pistol
your
with
shot."
one bullet. Yeah.
And they're kind of making their way. Like, we've got to figure out a way to free the Black Pearl. Meanwhile, Barbossa has rounded up the remainder of his privateer crew and some of Blackbeard's crew and sails off on Queen Anne's revenge to take control of the high seas. Be a pirate's life for me. And that's basically how the movie ends. Good times.
So, what was your first impression of this movie once you first saw it? When did you first see it? Was it in the theater? Was it?
It was. I mean, it was a bootleg in Iraq.
Yeah. I was gonna say, I mean, it happens, right? It just happens. You got to do what you got to do. It's not like there's an AMC theater in Baghdad, right?
Well, it was released in May of 2011. I didn't redeploy until August of 2011. So
okay.
So if someone had it, I watched it.
And there you are.
The first time I saw it on TV or on DVD was a real DVD, was a much clearer quality. I will say that. But it was interesting. It was different. A lot of people, the people who didn't like it claimed that, Philip and Serena were just, pale comparisons of Will and Elizabeth, a little, and to a degree, a little less agency. But of course, Will and Elizabeth had 3 movies as co-leads to build their story. These guys,
I'm forgiving of that.
Half a movie.
I'm forgiving of that because pretty much every romantic couple in a movie gets half a movie to be able to, go through something, bond through that something, and then fall in love through that bonding. Like that's fine. It's typical, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a book. I mean, it's nothing wrong with that. I don't think that it was a cheap thing to have them. I think it's unfair to compare them as like Will and
as I watched this after watching like Curse of the Black Pearl and Dead Man's Chest, I'm like, well, they're not. Fortunately, they're not cookie cutter, replacements. Are they there? Yes. Sure.
They have their own purposes, though.
They do. Angelica basically kept the clergyman alive because she was hoping to maybe save Blackbeard's soul. To which with each passing conversation or heinous thing Blackbeard does, at one point Philip goes, "You know what? I maybe think there's not all people can be saved."
Becomes quite apparent.
Yeah. Kind of says it out loud too.
Yeah.
It's really funny, the casting in Pirates. So Ian McShane was one of the people who was up for the role of Davy Jones in the previous 2 movies.
I did not know this. This is good to know.
And yet, but then he gets the role of the main antagonist in this movie as Blackbeard. Penelope Cruz was pregnant during this movie, so a lot of all the up close, in this picture in the movie, the close-ups are her. Some of the long distance are her sister Monica.
Oh, how cool!
Yeah,
wait a minute.
They do that. By the way, do you know who she was with and who was the father of her baby? It's going to be even wilder.
I don't.
She was with Javier Bardem at the time.
Oh, geez.
And he was the main villain of the next movie.
I should have known this. Yeah.
It's very weird or kind of neat, the connections, right? So
I like it. I had the distinction of watching this movie for the first time at home. I think it was right after my daughter was born because my in-laws were here. It was like right after we got back from the it wasn't the day we got back from the hospital. was like several
Sure.
days after. It was winter-ish. It would have been 2012. And it would have been on HBO, which I finally started paying for back then. Like, you know, the first time, first member of my family to pay for a premium channel, by the way. So I remember I was sitting, I have a distinct memory of sitting on my couch, bottle feeding my daughter while I'm watching Jack Sparrow being chased through London. So I was a little distracted watching it back then, but I did enjoy it, and I would later watch it again on a less hectic evening. But I was not impressed when they first came out with this movie, because I don't know if I told you this, but I found Dead Man's Chest and At World's End to be a convoluted mess and a disappointment. And
I may have heard that.
You may have. I don't know if I expressed that very well. So when this movie came out, I was like, I'm not gonna. We already had our son. He was a baby. We weren't gonna waste date night on it. And then, so, you know, when it came out on HBO and it was an opportunistic watch, I watched it. I'm like, oh, actually, this is quite delightful. Like, yeah, there's, you know, funny things in it. There's some things that are a little over the top, but that's a Pirates movie, right? That, you know,
the Pirates of the Caribbean movie series is 100% over the top.
Exactly. I mean,
from the very first movie to this one.
From the very first moment we see Jack Sparrow, when he's riding the dinghy in as it collapses under the water, you know, and he just steps off the mast onto the dock.
A fantastic entrance.
The best. It's the best entrance ever. But yes, it over the top from the very beginning. But I found it to be a complete relief that the plot was simplified. And yeah, Jack wanted the Black Pearl, and he was all along for the ride because he wanted the Black Pearl, and everyone else wanted the Fountain of Youth. The Spanish were after the Fountain of Youth. The English were after the Fountain of Youth. The Pirates were after the Fountain of Youth. You know, and Jack's just along for the ride.
Well,
it was at least a relief.
Jack did have the map to the Fountain of Youth.
Yeah, but he didn't want it.
He had considered, he kind of did. He thought about being an immortal pirate, sail the seas forever kind of thing.
Well, then just steal Cortez's gold then. Just one medallion. Then you'll be immortal. You know?
But that wasn't the right kind of immortal. Like the Fountain of Youth would extend his life and he could enjoy it. You know, the curse of the Black Pearl or the curse of the Aztec gold.
Yes.
They can't taste anything. They can't feel anything.
But you can still live. And then you have the option to be able to end that at any point. So that's the philosophical question, DT. Like, if you had the choice between being immortal through stealing Cortez's gold versus taking a drink from the Fountain of Youth, which would you do?
Fountain of Youth. I've already done it. I went to St. Augustine.
Oh yeah, that's right. You son of a bitch. You don't even look like a day over 20. God damn it.
Yeah, bullshit. I was hoping it was going to work. Sure as hell didn't.
I think I would go with Cortez's gold first of all, I don't want to be immortal. I don't want that. I think it cheapens life in that circumstance. Not to get deep or, you know, anything like that, but I am for a second. But if I were, I would want the ability to be mortal again. And the Fountain of Youth wouldn't be able to do that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it does. I mean, Angelica, I don't think is immortal. It did heal her wounds and extended her life. What the ritual that they performed just drains all the remaining years from somebody and gives to that other person. Now, Blackbeard clearly probably didn't have 70 years left, you know.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's the other insidious part. Like, I wouldn't have it in me to be able to steal someone else's years.
Well, that's why I think that's half the reason Angelica kept Jack along was to steal his life as part of the revenge.
Never said explicitly, though. Never said explicitly. But yeah, you're
There
probably
were
not
definitely
far off.
There were hints in the conversation that they were going to basically use a third person
Yeah.
to save Blackbeard.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a good movie, right? It was enjoyable.
Certainly enjoyable. Definitely enjoyable. I wouldn't go ahead. I'm sorry, I interrupted you. You were gonna wax.
I mean,
on.
it did make $1 billion at the box office.
It did. It made a good profit.
Okay, on a budget of
250.
400 million.
No, it didn't cost that much. I mean, if that's
At its time, it was the most expensive movie ever made. In fact, most of the later Pirates movies, I think, all might have topped each other for most expensive movie. But yes, it was quite expensive.
Here's the fun part: U.S. and Canada had only made 241 million. That the rest of the world mattered in making that money back. That's insane. And by the way, that means it barely even made a profit. Because if it was 400, would you say $450 million?
The joint production of Dead Man's Chest and At World's End cost over $300 million. They decided Disney was going to try to go for a lower budget. Looks like British financial statements of the film reveal the total expenditure of it was 240 million pounds, $410 million.
Oh my gosh. They didn't make a profit then.
Disney received a $32 million rebate from the British government. It was the most expensive film made at the time.
Okay, so remember, when it comes to
they filmed in
budgets,
3D.
Oh yeah, that's right, because that was right at the 3D craze and stuff. Look at all those 3D televisions that they're still selling, and the 3D Blu-ray players, and all those 3D things that they're selling at Best Buy. Oh wait, yeah, that was a phase. So the gross was $1 billion, $1,046 million. If it had a budget of $410 million, that means that it would have needed to make 3 times that amount back in order to get a profit, to break even.
Gross was 410. Said net was 378. Net budget.
All right. Okay, 378 times 2, 760.
It was
$1 million.
$1.046 billion box office.
Right.
So it was almost 3 times.
Add another $200 million in advertising.
No, they didn't advertise.
But it would have cost at least another $150 million in advertisement that they would have needed to make back in this movie. This movie didn't make a profit. I mean, it made profit after licensing and stuff, but not strictly through the license, not through the theatrical release.
It made a slight profit.
At what point is it worth it, though? Like, that's the question. Like, this is the beginning of where Disney started just spending recklessly, it looks like.
I mean, it clearly made big enough impact that there was more for there was more money for another movie. I mean, they made another movie.
They did 7 years later. But it took 7 years to convince Disney to attempt to do that. Now let's take a look at that one, huh? Let's see.
Home media. Let's see. In its first week, it sold 1.71 million Blu-ray units and generated $48.5 million
Okay.
in Blu-ray in its first week. It sold $3.2 million in Blu-ray units for $83.5 million for 11 weeks. Sold DVDs. Television premiere was in 2013, watched by a total of 4.5 million viewers, making it the third most watched program that night, according to overnight figures. So clearly it made a decent amount of money in the Blu-ray and DVD sales.
But not nearly how much it could have made in the theater. Going to Dead Men Tell No Tales, that budget is estimated at 230, but let's just say it's probably more than that. Let's add another 150 million to that, so 380 million.
Keep wanting to add all this extra money.
No, because the budget that I saw for on Stranger Tides literally said 250 million. You're telling me that was 410 million.
Maybe that includes advertising.
We don't know. They never put that in.
Are you sure?
What's your source that you're looking at?
The same source I've been looking at for everything. I'm at Wikipedia.
Okay. Wikipedia would have to delineate how much that is actual movie budget versus say ads and PA. That being said, let's just add another 150 million for advertising for Dead Men Tell No Tales. That's $380 million that they would have needed to make back, which means at the very least at 2.5 times they would to get that budget to make a profit. They would have needed to make, let's see, 380 times 2.5, $950 million. Do you know how much Dead Men Tell No Tales made?
No, how many?
$795 million. It flopped. It lost money.
Yeah, makes sense.
Isn't it weird? Almost an $800 million movie lost money.
Yeah.
This is when Disney just was spending recklessly. And they still are, by the way. I mean, goodness gracious.
The cast was good. You had solid additions with Ian McShane as Blackbeard. You brought back a couple of minor characters, the British officers who were toadies under Norrington and Beckett, and they show up. You get you get some nice cameos from Keith Richards and Judi Dench. You have Penelope Cruz was a good ad. She gave, her back and forth with Johnny Depp was pretty entertaining. Just so much of Jack's snarkiness, his confusion, his roguishness, and her fire and anger and all wrapped up, and of course having Barbosa and Gibbs, the guys who make the most piratey sounding voices.
Yeah.
Always entertaining. Quite good, and you get to see interesting character development from all of them. And, for like the first time in a while, like Jack and Barbosa aren't immediately trying to kill each other.
Yeah, no, I did like that they were on the same side, basically.
Yeah,
I like that a lot. I like Barbosa. I do. I'm a fan of Barbosa. What are you doing? Yeah.
Jane, you get Jeffrey Rush in this scenery chewing, like almost stereotypical kind of pirate. But he imbues him with so much charisma, snark, and menace. It's fantastic. Yeah. He really is.
No, he's a fun watch. He's a fun character. He's a fun watch in every single one of the movies that they've done. A Jack Sparrow is Jack Sparrow. More of the same, and you can never have too much of Jack Sparrow. Maybe you can, but I didn't feel.
He makes me laugh.
Yeah, exactly. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like if it makes you laugh, then he's doing something right, right?
Well, and you always kind of root for him because there is always a question: does he really know what he's doing? Is he really that lucky? It's
Yeah.
like, but you almost see him, but you can see him like in the throne room scene where he finally gets free, but he's already planning his escape, and he's like setting things up, like the napkin.
Yeah.
And it's
He's
like
kind of like Sherlock Holmes in that regard.
a little, but there's a lot more luck in with him too.
True.
It's like, it's like from The Curse of the Black Pearl. You were by far the worst pirate I've ever heard of.
Yeah.
You had heard of me. It's like,
that.
but then some of the junior officers later on are like, that's got to be the best pirate I've ever seen. So it would seem. There's literally a conversation like, is he just making it up as he goes along?
Oh yeah. That's the question, right? That is the question.
But then you see moments where it's like, oh, Jack does actually know what he's doing. And then it's like, wait, does he? They kind of keep you guessing on that.
They do. And I like that ambiguousness.
And
ambiguity.
They introduced another, recurring character, the character of Scrum, who eventually joins, who's in this movie and in the next movie is part of Jack's crew.
Yeah.
He's just a little, he kind of takes place of the Pintle and Rigetti to a degree. The dual pirates from the last three movies,
Yep. Yeah.
Another character to kind of add in.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
But you get something to kind of sink your teeth into a little. Just enough.
I did find this movie to be a relief. Like it did. I walked away going, oh, thank goodness it wasn't crazy weird, and it wasn't crazy complicated. And that was
super weird.
It was weird, but it wasn't crazy complicated. So let me put it that way. I gotta step away from my desk. Keep talking for just 1 second.
There is the theme, finding the fountain of youth. Sure, everybody's reasons for finding it is different. The pirates kind of want to do it mostly because it's another treasure, right? But Barbossa and his privateers, oh yes, we're gonna sail for jolly old England. And really, Barbossa's got vengeance and his own plans in mind. The Spanish have their own thing. Jack, for him, it's almost just the next adventure.
Yeah.
To go find the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
And Angelica and Blackbeard have their own reasons for doing it. And then there's just about everybody else who's along for the ride. Gibbs gets shanghaied, all these other guys do. It's a little crazy. But
I think it works overall.
It does. You can get into it. And it was kind of interesting.
To do.
Yeah. And they took some of the bones of a novel, they put it in some elements of it, Fountain of Youth, zombies, Blackbeard, pirates in the Caribbean.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's a daughter. There's enough elements from the book that they were able to build off of. And of course, they named it basically after the book. So I bet you that guy got some serious royalties.
I'm sure he did. And I hope he did, because that would be the only right thing to do. So grades, I just want to point out, like, when it comes to critiquing movies and stuff, you see critics that look at movies like this and go, this is pedantic and childish, and it's
people who really just don't enjoy
5 out of 10 stars. The point is, like, does the movie do what it's set out to do? And I say that for this movie. I say that for comedies like Superbad or Good Boys or does or even romantic comedies like Valentine's Day, which we watched over the weekend too. Like does it entertain? Does it make you laugh? Does it capture your interest? And if it does that, if it achieves what its original goal was, then it's a successful movie. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So on this, I'm going to give this movie a B+.
Well, since it's a pirate movie, I'm going to give it 4 out of 5 R's.
R's. Reading, writing, arithmetic.
5 R's.
5 R's.
4 out of 5 R's.
All right. Yeah. Okay.
Curse of the Black Pearl was 5 R's.
R's. Yeah. And there it is. All right, DT, anything else you want to do before we sign off? Anything else?
You know what? I do hope that there's a 6th pirate movie with Johnny Depp, because right now I'm loving it.
I think there will be.
The theme music is just too good. Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, you're right, is always good.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, some characters can wear kind of thin, but I don't know. He just nails that sweet spot of just.
You can have a situation where the actor would phone in the character. Johnny Depp as Jack Sparrow, you can't phone that in. You can't. Like, in order to be successful, you can't phone that in.
Well, first off, he basically kept his Jack Sparrow costume. He's shown up to various Disney properties dressed as Jack Sparrow and just like stood there like people thinking it might be a statue or an animatronic, and then it's going, no, that's not really Johnny Depp. Come on, this is stupid. It's just it's him. But he's also gone.
Actors at Disneyland are very convincing as
you should hope so.
Johnny Depp. They're very convincing. So if I were to come across Johnny Depp at Disneyland as Jack Sparrow, I wouldn't be able to tell the difference. I'll just point at that. Like, I wouldn't have been able to.
If he spoke,
maybe if he spoke, maybe.
But another thing is he's shown up to children's hospitals in the Jack Sparrow costume.
Yeah.
That's fucking awesome.
Yeah. No, I like that power.
Using your powers for good.
That's it, exactly. So on that note, until the next time, guys, keep dreaming, we'll keep working. On behalf of those Sci-Fi Guys, and thank you to these Sci-Fi Guys for allowing us to watch this.
Dude, you're muted.
That's weird. Huh.
Yeah. You were all muffled.
That was really weird because I had it really low. I guess it's just a really... Anyway, all right. Until the next time, you guys keep dreaming. We'll keep working. I am P.S. McKay, and on behalf of these Sci-Fi Guys, thank you for allowing us to watch your show. Till the next time, so long, everybody.
And I'm DT Cavman, and here there be monsters. On the high ground.
DT's got stories from cavalry scars. One writes the worlds where the heroes fly, the other roll tanks under desert sky. From sandbox forts to the final frontier, 2 kids with dreams and a 6-pack of beer. Different roads, same old spark. Talking Trek till the streetlights spark. We read those sci-fi guys riding warp speed waves. Mack and DT Cannon lighting up the airwaves. Blasters and books, we're geek to the core. Laughing through the lore on those sci-fi guys. Mack spins a tale about a rogue AI. DT counters with, man, I drove that guy. From doom to doom, we argue the stakes while the coffee gets cold and the pizza box breaks. Childhood pals in a grown-up fight for the best damn death scene on a Friday night. Pixels or pages, we're never done. 2 working stiffs chasing alien sun. We're in those sci-fi guys riding warp speed waves. Mack and DT Cabin lighting up the airwaves. Blasters or books, we're geek to the core. Laughing through the lore on those sci-fi guys. hours, just regular days, but we'll save the galaxy in our own ways. Mack's drafting novels in the dead of night. DT's got tank tracks, turns them into light. Together we're louder than a hyperdrive scream. Two regular dudes living the sci-fi dream. Yeah, yeah, we're with those sci-fi guys riding warp speed waves. Mack and DT Cabin lighting up the airwaves. From the sandbox to the stars, we'll never say die. Tune in, geek out, those sci-fi guys.
Replicants. Bring the Bourbon Rider boys, gonna get real.